Hey lovelies, so welcome back to Reviews and Recaps. Let's talk about Martell Holt being ordered to pay Melody's legal fees. Let's talk about the children. Let's talk about what in the craziness is happening at court that he is not complying with court orders and he's still being given extra time to comply. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I do commentary on reality TV shows and everything in between, so make sure you smash that subscribe button and that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. And everyone, please like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. Now let's get into it. Shout out to Urban Bell magazine for this article on Martell Holt. Now, if you guys don't know, there was a court hearing in relation to the custody case last week. The hearing was because Melody and her attorney filed an emergency motion to try to enforce the previous court orders that were made against Martel. So if you guys remember, there was a story that we covered where we said Martel was ordered by the court to undergo psychological evaluation and counseling with their minor son Tank. Now, a lot of people came out then and were saying things like, oh, it's a lie, it's not true, all of that. Well, in reality, it's clearly the truth if a motion is being filed to enforce an order that was made previously. My biggest concern and annoyance is the fact that this order was made against Martel a while ago and nothing has been done about it. So if Melody and her attorneys are filing a motion because nothing has been done about it, why wasn't nothing done by Martell Holt? That's because he can say all he wants about being a good father, but a good father shows up. A good father does whatever needs to be done to mend your relationship with your children. But if you're not doing that and you're not agreeing to go to counseling and do your psychological evaluations, that's because you're not a good father like you like to claim. You're constantly screaming about how you're this amazing father. Let's not forget the Father's Day video where he was getting so salty because people were calling him out on his BS. You cannot say you're a good father and behave in this way towards your children. Let's not forget all these crazy allegations of choking and all these kind of things. That is extreme use of force towards anybody, not to talk of a son, your son. And I think it baffles me that the courts have not done anything about it until this point. This is something serious. The fact that Martel feels like he can do whatever he wants to do, decide not to do what the court has ordered him to do, I feel like is indicative of how laissez-faire, how lackadaisical the whole court process thing has been, in my opinion. Because how is it that someone thinks it's okay to defy court orders by not doing what he was ordered to do and there is no repercussions for that behavior? Like, I just wonder, in this whole time, right, when he's been ordered to not use corporal punishment against the children and has been ordered to do a psych eval, has been ordered to do weekly consultations or counseling sessions with his son, which of these things did he do? I think he has not done anything. And either way, what has he been doing with his children since then? It begs the question, if he cannot comply with the order of the court to do these simple things, has he been complying with the order to not use corporal punishment against the children? The truth is, we don't know that. In reality, how can we be sure that this man who has refused to do counseling with his son, counseling is like the smallest thing that you could do if you really value your relationship with somebody. If you value your relationship with your son, to sit down in front of a counselor to talk about whatever is between you guys, the grievances that he may have towards your actions, you can apologize, you can express what your intentions were, remind him that you love him, all that kind of stuff, apologize. These are things that you can do in counseling. And when there is a third party there who knows what they're doing, that could actually help facilitate the conversation so it does not have to escalate. I feel like this is a perfect example of the court system not protecting children. Because think about it. How is Tank expected to still be having visitation or spending time with this man after everything he has done without these things being addressed properly? That's ridiculous. And that could have such a negative impact on the well-being of the children. That could have a negative impact on the well-being of Tank and the other children who also may have experienced the corporal punishment or may have experienced it, as in at least seen Martel's behavior towards Tank, for instance. It's beyond disgusting, and it's greatly disappointing that it is taking this long for anything to be done about the fact that this man is not complying with court orders. I'm just thinking, what if he's out here whooping these children right now? I personally believe, now I'm not a judge, so this is just my personal opinion. I personally believe someone like Martel, who has admitted to corporal punishment and is choosing not to comply with the court orders, should not be having visitation with the children without it being in a supervised setting, without there being some sort of supervision of other people. Let him go to a contact center and see the children. Let him see the children in front of a third party, or let me say a trusted third party who has the best interests of the children at heart. Because I just don't think the way the delays, the way things are going so slow is in the best interest of the children. The way this man can do whatever he wants to do without being held accountable. Now, of course, I'm glad they're finally holding him accountable to an extent, but it is taking the piss. This is almost 2 years later. Like, why did it have to take 2 years to try to hold this man accountable? It's ridiculous. I do wonder if Martel is getting some sort of pretty privilege, not because I think it's pretty, but I'm just like, how is it that it's taking 2 years for there to be consequences for someone not complying with the court order when it comes to the children? Why is there not some sort of court order for supervised contact? Imagine, what if he flips one day and takes it out on the children? God forbid. This is very serious. And for a lot of people that make jokes and say like, oh, it's not that deep, we got hit as kids. So what? I got hit as a kid, but that doesn't mean it is acceptable. That doesn't mean that does not result in long-lasting implications for the children. It does. And to have a man like Martel that pretends to be a good father when in reality he is not. Imagine having a daddy that is out there acting like he's a good father, telling the whole world he's a good father, but cannot even show up to counseling with you to try to fix what the issues are. That's an example of a good father. Do you know how that would make any child feel? Where they're like, wow, daddy does not even love me enough to show up so we can talk about it. That's a madness. That does something terrible to the psyche of a child. And the fact that he knows that, doesn't care, he has blatant disrespect for the law because he has been getting away with things for so long. No one holds him accountable. No one has been able to hold his feet to the fire. So, of course, he doesn't believe that anyone would start now. Of course, he has a blatant disrespect and disregard for a court order. He's just like, this is just going to be like everything else. I don't get held accountable. I have not done anything wrong. I believe I'm above the law. He's literally saying to yo, I believe I'm above the law and ain't nothing going to happen. A part of me wonders, is it because he's in the public space? All the crazy people that are always in the comments rooting for Martel, talking about how good a father he is. Where are you guys now? I need you all to speak up. Do you still think he's a good father? What good father is not going to show up to counseling with their child? No matter what. Even parents that think they did nothing wrong still show up to counseling because they feel like that's what their child needs to move forward. So for someone like Martel to have a blatant disregard, to not care regardless, to be like, I don't care, I'm not doing it, and be able to still have people's support is mad. And the fact that on TV doesn't really show all of this, but like to have Miss Marlene there, Everybody acting like, oh, you a good father. Oh, you a good husband. You can't say you love somebody and not be willing to make sacrifices, do things that make you uncomfortable for their sake. For the sake of your child who you say you love, you're telling me you can't show up weekly and then have the family counseling twice monthly? Like, you're telling me you can't do all of these things, but you love your children and you're such an amazing father. Please, next time Martel says that, you guys better remember this and don't fall for it. Now, there was one thing they said in the article that I was really curious about and I wanted to talk about with you guys. They said, as a result of the court's declaration, Martel is now at serious risk of losing his visitation rights to his children. I was like, I thought he had custody. I thought it was 7 days on, 7 days off, joint custody for both of them. Does that mean that Martel does not have joint custody anymore and Melody has sole custody whilst Martel has visitation rights? Or is this a mistake where they just mean the access to seeing them? Because usually when they say visitation and not sole custody or joint custody, it usually means something different. So I'm quite shocked about the use of visitation. If anyone knows what's happening, does that mean that Melody still gets 7 days on, 7 days off? Unless the court then says, if he doesn't do what he needs to do, then he's going to lose it. My thing is, why is he even being given another chance? He's had 2 years to comply but didn't. So I don't know what's going on there with the whole losing his visitation rights. I thought he didn't even have his visitation rights to begin with. Anyway, a good win for Melody is that Martel must pay $7,000 towards her legal fees. I'm guessing that is the cost of her having to file this emergency motion and have the emergency hearing. He must also schedule his remaining visits for his psychological evaluation. I'm like, if you're great, why are you scared of a psychological evaluation? If someone says, go and do a psych eval right now, I'm like, bet? Are you going to pay me for this? What is my benefit of doing this? Sure. For my children? Sure. Say less. It's like, why are you hiding? What is there to hide behind? Is it because you know you're not going to pass? Is that the issue? Like, what is the problem? Anyway, the next hearing for the case is October the 16th. And so we will be staying tuned to see what happens there. I really hope everything is resolved and Melody gets sole custody if she doesn't have that already, because things are crazy and it should not be allowed to continue. That's all I have to say. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, share, hit that subscribe button and tap that bell button right next to it so you know every single time that I post. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Bye.